You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John. Welcome to Guitar Talk, everybody. We are back. I am Dave.
And I am excited. And John.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo! What a weekend. DL, it was a fun weekend, I got to tell you.
Okay. Let me hear.
Okay.
I'm all ears.
If for no other reason than the simple fact that I spent the whole weekend listening to a band that I love. I absolutely love. I had to learn a guitar solo, and this band, let's talk a little bit about this band.
All right.
But if I was to hypothetically tell you I had an idea, it's going to be 5 kind of ugly dudes. And they're going to basically take 4 chords, the same 4 chords, and roughly the same drum beat. And they were going to make a 50-year career out of it. They were going to lose a vocalist to a death.
Okay.
And then have arguably an even bigger career after that. Would you say this is? Could you see this being feasible? 5
I like the way you said
4 chords.
I like the way you said arguably a bigger career. There's no argument about the career being bigger. They were huge after that. Arguably, whether you like them better.
What do you mean? Hey, you don't know who I'm talking about.
Well, I can only guess with that kind of information.
Who do you suppose that we're talking
I
about?
guess it would be an Australian band.
Ooh.
Whose first album was released in Australia only in 1975.
Okay. And this is a band we both really like a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is an episode that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this band, I think.
This is the AC/DC episode.
Yeah, kid. I had to learn how to play the solo, like the note for note version, the not faking it version for "You Shook Me All Night Long."
Oh yeah, I do that.
It's just like, okay, so I'm listening to it, I learn it. By the time I learn it, then I play through the rest of the song. I can't just shut the record off. It just doesn't work.
That album is fantastic. I mean, I'm a big Back in Black is just ridiculous. You can overplay that album forever and still go back to listening to the opening of Hell's Bells, and you're like, oh, I gotta listen to this record. And To Shoot the Thrill.
Oh,
What do you do for money, honey? Giving the dog a bone, shake a leg. I mean, come on, the record's ridiculous.
Is there a bad song on the record?
No.
I don't think there is.
We could talk about what's the weakest song on that album.
You could always do that, yeah.
Yeah, but they're all good.
Yeah. The crazy thing about it is, depending on my mood, I would go as far as to say I could find enjoyment. I'm not going to say there's not a bad song. Maybe some songs are weak. I can find enjoyment out of literally every single thing they released prior to 1982. Like everything. I could go all the way up to, for those about to rock, I can find very little fault with that band.
And may I say, you're speaking out of line, sir, how the hell do you not throw Flick of the Switch in there? I think Flick of the Switch is better than For Those About to Rock. And I think Fly on the Wall is their last phenomenal album.
All right. Well, in all transparency, I'm not terribly familiar with those records because I'm in the Van Hagar Van Halen sort of argument here. I'm definitely more of a Bon Scott guy when it comes to my casual listening, but
sure.
Due to the fact that Back in Black is as impervious as it is, perhaps I should give them a shake.
Well, so for me, it was Back in Black was 6th grade for me. And so 81 was 7th grade when I was listening to For Those About to Rock. And I was a freshman in high school or just finishing up my freshman year. We might have even been going into sophomore. when Flick of the Switch came out. And I was like, this record's fantastic.
Yeah.
When I was a senior, Fly on the Wall came out. And it was a little bit poppier than the other stuff. Sink the Pink was on that album. Danger's a great song on that album. There was another big song on that album. It's a really strong record.
Nervous Shakedown. Guns for Hire.
Oh, great. Wait, wait a minute. Nervous Shakedown is on that album, but Guns for Hire's on that? I thought Guns for Hire's on Flick of the Switch.
Isn't that what we're talking about?
Oh, yeah. No. I'm saying Fly on the Wall.
Oh, you were talking about Fly on the Wall. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Shake Your Foundations.
That's the one. Yeah, that's a great song. Great tune.
So you were the one that turned me on to the fact that Motley Crue ripped these guys off for what's arguably Motley Crue's biggest hit, or one of them. Oh, I don't know if that's one of their biggest hits. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I was after rehearsal the other night. We went out and grabbed a beer at the beer and pizza restaurant that the bass player actually is the general manager of this place. So we were there after hours, just controlling the little music system on the iPad, having a couple of cold ones, and we were just sitting there talking about AC/DC a little bit, because they don't have the same enthusiastic appreciation for them that I do, because I just don't think they were really a part of their vocabulary, their musical upbringing as much. So I'm sitting there talking to them, and we're talking about tell them about the Motley Crue thing, and they were like, "Well, I never heard of that." Put on the song, and the minutes, boom, they were both like, "What?"
Night of the Long, yeah.
Oh, dude, eyes got big as saucers. Oh, I remember the first time I heard it when you told me about it, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
For me, it was strange because, again, I was in 7th grade listening to For Those About to Rock. That when Motley Crue came out with that song, I'm like, I know this song. What the hell is this? And then it was going back and going, oh yeah,
that's so
that
crazy.
Was Night of the Long Knives. Night of the Long Knives.
Yeah. So
obviously, just from us bantering here, you are more of a Bond fan.
It's hard for me to choose. If I put on a Bon Scott record, I'm listening to the whole thing. But the same thing happens when I put on Back in Black. I can't turn it off. So it's almost like I would just argue that I'm probably just more familiar with the Bond stuff. But I couldn't knock Brian Johnson stuff at all. The Back in Black is a perfect record. It's unbelievable. And I just need to, and For Those About to Rock's amazing too. I just have to get some more time.
If somebody were to say to me, like, who do I like better? Honestly, I would just say it's Brian Johnson, only because if I name my top 5 AC/DC albums, the Brian Johnson stuff would be 3 of the 5.
Okay.
And it would be number 1 would be, obviously my favorite would be the number 1.
Back in Black, I have to.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be.
Yeah.
It's iconic, and you can go back, and someone could say, that's obvious, it's overplayed. No, it is the best album they did. I mean, it is a perfect record. It's great.
Yeah. There's it's a great thing. Okay, so top 5 AC/DC records. Throw them at me.
So my favorite would definitely be Back in Black. My number 2, I would give it to Powerage. A Bon Scott album from 1978. And the reason, I mean, there's Gone Shooting, Rock and Roll Damnation, Riff Raff. Album's ridiculous.
So good.
It's ridiculous. And then for my number 3, I would go with Flick of the Switch.
Okay.
Then I would go to Highway to Hell. and then For Those About to Rock.
Okay. Not bad, not bad.
And if I had to even go up to number 6, I would go to If You Want Blood before I went to any of the other early records with Bon Scott. That live album to me captures something that I feel like Let There Be Rock and High Voltage lack. A certain energy, and yeah, it's just missing something.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I disagree with you on that. Let There Be Rock I like a lot though.
It's a good album. I mean, they're all great records. We're splitting hairs, calling off what's your. So now you got to tell us the top 5 for John.
All right. Well, at least according now the problem with High Voltage is High Voltage. At least what we see in the United States is a compilation of things.
Well,
it's not.
It's
not
not
the
just the
same
United
thing.
States; it's the world.
Okay. Yeah.
It was
yeah,
the
so
international version. The original version was 75. Was a little different. Had Jailbreak on it.
Yeah. So I mean, number one, without question, Back in Black. It has to be. My number 2 is. I'm going to dissent with you and just go with the American version of High Voltage, which I love.
Really?
I absolutely love it. It's A Long Way to the Top, High Voltage, Rock and Roll Singer, TNT, Livewire, She's Got Balls, Little Lover. Everything on it's good.
Isn't the Jack on there too?
Oh, and I love it.
But see, that's my
So
problem
stupid.
with High Voltage.
Is
I
the
think
Jack?
the Jack live is far superior.
Mm.
I love the version that's on If You Want Blood of the Jack, and what was the other, and the song High Voltage.
The thing about the Jack for me is, as a studio track, and you might be right, I'll have to listen to the live version, but as a studio track, it's a song that goes bum 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 bum, bum, and it still captures my imagination.
Well, it opens with the
How that yeah. No, but I mean in general, like the whole song is
right.
that bum bum bum, and it still captures my imagination. It's which is like, a Dream Theater fan and a fan of like speed metal and all that. It's just like,
yeah, it's a shock for me. It comes in at number 2 for you.
Yeah, I really like that record a lot. And then I think I told you this weekend I spent some time on Can I Sit Next to You, Girl?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that song.
Oh, I love it. It's
that's on
weird.
Let There Be Rock.
No, that's on High Voltage.
Oh, sorry, High Voltage.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
And then I'd probably I'd put Highway to Hell in there.
Okay.
I mean, Highway to Hell, Girl Got Rhythm, Walk All Over You, A Touch Too Much, Beating Around the Bush, Shot Down in Flames.
No, it's fantastic.
Get It Hot, Get It Hot, Get It Hot.
Not a bad
You Want
song.
Blood, Love Hungry Man, Night Prowler. I mean, if anything, I don't know. No, there's not a bad song on it. I was going to say, if anything, maybe Night Prowler is weak, but...
Oh, I like Night Prowler.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's only weak compared to maybe like Highway to Hell, but... Yeah, it's just insane how good this whole collection of stuff is. And what did I give you? I gave you 3 records.
Well, you gave me High Voltage,
right?
Highway to Hell, and Back in Black was your number 1.
Right.
I should say Back in Black was 1, High Voltage was your number 2, your number 3 was Highway to Hell.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Interesting.
I'd probably throw Let There Be Rock in there.
Wow.
Because
this is opposite of my list.
Because I'm a huge fan of Whole Lotta Rosie. I think Bad Boy Boogie's good. Let There Be Rock is good.
Yeah, you named all the
Child
songs.
is good.
That's great on that live album.
Yeah, the only thing I mean, Go Down is okay. It's not my favorite song in the world, but I'll listen to it if it comes on. I haven't listened to Dirty Deeds in a long time.
Problem Child is also that's
on Dirty Deeds as well.
Right, because on the Australian version of Dirty Deeds, it's on Dirty Deeds, and the international version is too. But on the Australian version of Let There Be Rock, Problem Child's not on that album.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, Dirty Deeds is okay. Yeah, I'd probably throw for
Give
number
me
5. For
albums.
number 5, I might go Let There Be Rock. I'm sorry. I'm For Those About to Rock. For Those About to Rock is just great.
So let me just see if I can get this right.
Night of the Long Knives,
Favorite Bon
Spellbound.
Scott album is the one that you don't is your least favorite.
Your what?
My favorite Bon Scott album, Powerage, is your least favorite because it didn't make your top 5 when everything else did. Let There Be Rock.
I mean, it's really good, but no, it's not my favorite one.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Rock and Roll Damnation's outstanding. Riff Raff, Sin City, they're all good. But
Kicked in the Teeth, What's Next to the Moon, Gone Shooting. I love that record.
And then you go into Dirty Deeds, which I'm not necessarily naming, but like Dirty Deeds, Love at First Feel. I'm a rocker, I'm a roller, I'm a ride out of controller. It's like
again
amazing.
That version of Rock that's better on For Those About to. I mean, If You Want Blood.
Yeah, there's gonna be some rockin'. That's a least favorite.
My
song.
favorite song on Dirty Deeds is "Ain't Too Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire."
Ah, it's a good one.
That's my favorite on that. That and Ride On. I'm gonna ride on, ride on. You know, the thing about the AC/DC, we talk about them being, we make jokes that they're a 3-chord or 4-chord band. They're really smart about melody.
Yes, they are.
And with both singers, even they both had the different thing. Like, you don't know the album Fly on the Wall, but there's a song called Danger. Giving love to strangers. It's just a real catchy song. And there was a real hooky song on For Those About to Rock. Let me look. I gotta see what the name of it is because I can't think of it at the top. What was the name of that real hooky?
Shit, even For Those About to Rock is.
Oh, Put the Finger on You.
Oh yeah.
No, but I'm talking about like popish, where For Those About to Rock is still boom, there's something like still very heavy about it. We Put the Finger on You, it's like it's got a hook going throughout, down, 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 down. I put the finger on you for sure. I put the finger right on you.
Man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's a good band. It's a good band. And it's just funny. I can't think of another band that allows me to pass the time just like sitting and listening as much as that. Like I can just
folks, if you are watching
turn it off.
If you are watching this, folks, in the comments, please, your top 5 with being 5 being the least favorite of the 5 and 1 being your absolute favorite. Name your top 5 AC/DC songs in the comments. I'd be interested to see because John's are exactly the opposite of mine. I mean, I basically we both like Heaven and Hell. We both like Back in Black.
Ooh, I love Heaven and Hell, but that's a different band.
Oh, sorry. We both like Highway to Hell, and we both like Back in Black.
And we both like Heaven and Hell.
Wait, and did I have For Those? And we both had For Those About to Rock.
Right.
In our top 5s.
Yeah.
I had Flick of the Switch and Powerage. You had High Voltage.
Oh, yeah.
Let There Be Rock.
Right. It was all for the sake of liberty. Bow, bow. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I also think that
Jailbreak 74 Jailbreak is great.
The sound of Angus's guitar between the Powerage and Highway to Hell album takes such a big leap. But I think Powerage is a better recorded album than the previous ones, than Let There Be Rock, Dirty Deeds. It's just a better recorded album.
There's a couple, I was noticing that today, there's a few big differences in the sound between the old ones that I was talking about. Some of them don't sound that good.
Yeah.
Like the stuff on like High Voltage has that old AC/DC sound. It's almost clean.
We can agree on one thing. Stiff upper lip, Black Ice, and Rock or Bust are all terrible.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
they're
I'm okay
phoning
with
it
that.
in. The sound quality, it's like they just slam it. The guitars are way more distorted than they ever were. You
What
go
you want?
back and listen to High Voltage. That's not a distorted guitar. I mean, it's like it's
It's really clean.
a Marshall 1959 being played at full volume through an SG. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't fake it.
Or a Gretsch. Yeah. It's
And when I say you
so I'm
can't fake it,
listening
I
to
mean
that.
you can fake it, but
Right, exactly. So I'm listening to that Can I Sit Next to You Girl. That's the one that like really caught my attention the other day cuz I've heard it a million times. I just never paid attention. And I was listening on my studio monitors here with a little bit of volume, so I had a really good sound source.
okay.
Listen to that song with a really good sound source and just listen to the dynamics of the build until Angus hits that little guitar solo at the very beginning. And it's almost like just in itself like a masterclass in dynamics as a band. It's like
My only issue with the
little
song is at the
tiny
end when he
things.
keeps saying over and over again, "Can I sit next to you, girl? Nibble in your ear." I got to take a shower after that. I feel disgusted. I'm like, this guy's been touching me inappropriately.
Exactly. I'll tell you, I love the Bon Scott lyrics.
No,
They're
I
all
mean,
they're all so tongue in cheek and so goofy.
right.
And
He's
I love
great.
some of the stuff like, he's just cool as a body on ice. It's like great that's like what he decided to say, describing something cold. Like a dead body on ice, as opposed to, an ice cube, for example.
Right.
But
No,
or
I think he's great. And I think Brian Johnson was great too.
yeah.
We talk about people who have the ability to write for a limited amount of time. You say 7 years. I think it's shorter, but that's just me. But if it's shorter, let's say it's 4 years. If you take, well, in this case, almost 5 years, but even on Fly on the Wall, you can start to hear the flaw. You can start to hear where Johnson's now losing his voice physically. And the writing is still pretty good, but he's losing his voice physically. And so for those 4 albums, for those about to rock, Back in Black, for those about to rock, Flick of the Switch, and Fly on the Wall, he's killing it. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a great band. Now, Highway to Hell, Power Ridge. I mean, what's the other guy have? 5 or 6 albums?
Yeah. Well, I mean, total albums. What is
Bon
it?
Scott.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I don't know.
Well, because when Highway to Hell came out, when High Voltage came out, didn't they also put out another album right afterwards, TNT, in Australia? They
Well,
put out 2 albums,
the
and then
TNT was originally on.
it was an
Was it?
album.
Yeah. There. I mean, it
Yeah,
may
here it
have
is. It's an
been,
album, second studio album. Yeah, there's 10 songs on it.
and that's an Australian release.
Yeah, it's the second album.
Okay,
High
that's
Voltage, the first album.
because the international release for High Voltage has the song TNT on it.
Right. They mixed it's basically the High Voltage international version is the Meet the Beatles. The Beatles put out Please Please Me and With the Beatles, and then when they put it out in America, when Capitol did, they took the best songs from each album and called it Meet the Beatles.
Okay.
So they had High Voltage, then TNT, and then the international version, they took the best songs from both those albums and made their first international record, High Voltage.
It sounds to me like I need to get my hands on those Australian releases because there's probably some songs I've never heard.
I got them. I'll send them to you.
Do you really? Yeah,
Yeah.
please. Please, that would be awesome. I bet there's some stuff on there I'd like.
Yeah,
The
Let There Be Rock there's an Australian version of Let There Be Rock, I believe. Let me just see. I think Dirty Deeds has 2 versions too.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's two versions of Let There Be Rock. And then Dirty Deeds, there's two versions. And I think Powerage, there's one version.
So,
Nope.
so if
Powerage has an Australian and US release. And then there's a European release, which has an extra song on it.
Okay. So if there was, we've got the top 5 records. If there was one AC/DC riff, not song, but a riff. If there's a guitar riff that you say, that's my favorite. What's your favorite AC/DC guitar riff? Where do you give Malcolm some love?
Malcolm?
Or Angus, whoever plays it. Who knows?
Probably Riff Raff.
Riff Raff.
Now, 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 do 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 da do 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 da do do da 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 do 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 da do 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 da do do da 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 do do da do 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 da da da. You know what I mean? That whole the song Riff Raff itself to me is like it's just great.
Nice. I wonder what mine would be.
Well, I would hope you would have had one thought
Yeah,
up
yeah.
before you asked.
I don't know. There's like so many. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like one that I've always really liked because it's not the most typical AC/DC riff. I always really like the riff from "What Would You Do for Money, Honey." What would you do for money? I mean, it's simple, but it's simple, but that E, D, and then that that D with a C sharp in the bass down to the it's just.
I think you would like the Flick of the Switch album a lot. You don't have that?
No, but I'll get it.
Oh, Flick of the Switch has so much great feels on it.
Yeah, it's it's such a fun band. So I show my kids all this stuff too, right? That's the other thing about this band is it just seems like it's timeless. This is one of those things that ages very well. It ages very, very well. The kids all love it. They absolutely love it. I could play Back in Black in the car. I could play Highway to Hell. I could play Dirty Deeds. And these guys are just screaming the choruses at the top of their lungs in the back seat.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, if I put on Big Balls, that's the real belle of the ball.
Oh, really? They like that one?
Oh, you put on Big Balls and Ewan's dying. Oh, he's laughing his ass off. Of course.
Right.
A 5-year-old kid. That's the one. I have to show him my ding-a-ling from Chuck Berry.
Right. Off of Flick of the Switch, there's a song called Rising Power that has a fantastic guitar riff. Just the way it opens, and then even the chords in the chorus, everything about that song. It's the opening track, and there's a great live recording of them playing it like backstage, not at like some show where they set up and shot videos, but actually re-recorded the songs. They sound great.
Man,
it's a great too. I mean, they're a great band. And go ahead.
How in the 1970s or how is it that you can have a band that's diming a pair of 1959s?
Yeah.
I mean, how does the drummer even cut through that?
Well, he wasn't playing a 59 though. I mean, Angus was, but Malcolm was playing a oh God, not now. Was it a 92?
Purple Rectifier?
No, was it a 92?
I don't know.
What's the Marshall model? It was a super bass. He played the super bass. Angus played a super lead.
Did he play super bass?
Yeah, Marshall.
Okay.
100-watt super bass. Let's see what the model number is. The 92 super bass champ. Oh no, it is. I was right. It's a 1992. That's it. That's what he played.
Interesting. I have a feeling that is probably a pretty similar amp to the super lead. Maybe a couple
It
of
is.
parts
It's
different.
darker.
Okay,
It just has a darker circuit.
interesting.
Yeah.
Couple of components changed, maybe.
Yeah.
The Oh, sorry, I didn't turn off my phone ringer there. No, man, it's a pretty incredible band, but as a guitar player, it does make me wonder. Like, you watch Phil Rudd play, or Paul Rudd play for that matter. He doesn't hit the drums. He's not a real heavy-handed like metal drummer, right?
Paul Rudd.
like Chris Slade when he was in the band, and you watch the music videos, he's really selling it, and he's hitting the drums really hard in the videos. But you watch Phil Rudd, and it's not that heavy-handed. And I'm thinking, like, these assholes are running these insanely loud Marshalls, insanely loud, and he's just back there, and they can see him, and they're like, "Are you gonna play?" And he's like, "I am." Nobody can hear the guy. How can you hear through that? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the hell AC/DC was playing before they got a record deal, but they must have had to keep the amps out back.
Yeah, for sure. That's wild. I don't know if you watched the 1974 Jailbreak video. It looks like they're playing on top of a parade float. So maybe they just played the parade circuit.
Right.
The Australian Freedom Parade.
The parade circuit. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little crazy. I mean, the band though has some longevity. They've had some great hits. I honestly, they haven't done anything, in my opinion, since Thunderstruck.
Yeah, but
And
still,
so,
that's a pretty good run for a band to go from 74 to
75
90.
to 90. Yeah, 15 years.
It's a long run for a band.
Yeah, well, to me, they technically went 10 years. 75 to 85, they were great. 86, they did Who Made Who, and that record stunk. 90, they came out with Thunderstruck, and that record wasn't great.
No.
And they had
Mistress for Christmas, awful.
It's terrible. I mean, they just lost it. They were like, they were phoning it in. They kind of came back with
Thunderstruck's pretty iconic. Money Talks is okay. It's okay.
What album
Poppy,
is that?
the same one.
That's Razor's Edge.
Razor's Edge, yeah.
Yeah.
What year was Blow Up Your Video or whatever that's called?
85.
Was that before Who Made Who?
Oh no, 88. Sorry, 88. Blow Up Your Video. Yeah, Blow Up Your Video doesn't have anything on it. Heat Seeker.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Who Made Who? Wasn't that just a soundtrack?
Yeah. Yeah, what was the movie? It was like some
Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, I don't even know that movie. That was a Stephen King movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was 86. And let me see who.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw that. That's not the movie where the guy has the mechanical wheelchair thing. Wasn't that Silver Bullet?
Mechanical Wheelchair. It's Ironside. I was kidding.
What? Oh,
I think Who Made Who might be the only new song on the album.
Okay.
It's just a collection of old AC/DC songs. You Shook Me All Night Long, some instrumental called DT, Sink the Pink from Fly on the Wall, Ride On from Dirty Deeds, Hell's Bells, Shake Your Foundations from Fly on the Wall, Chase the Ace, another instrumental, and For Those About to Rock from the album For Those About to Rock.
All right. So Who Made Who was the only new one?
Yeah.
All right.
Video game says play me.
Exactly.
And that was when all the trucks were going by, and then the truck turned into something else, and he was like, Autobots unite.
Yeah, I have no idea. Who Made Who?
Together and fight the Decepticons.
Who Made Who's like, I don't hate the song because when I was growing up, I heard it a lot, so it's kind of one of those kid things.
Oh, it's a good song.
The production of it, by comparison of like the 70s production, to me it stinks because it's got that more 80s quality to it.
They were stepping up. They were getting to the glitz and the glam of the 80s.
There's just something about the gnarliness of the 70s with them that just makes sense to me. So I hear like that damn, 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 and you can hear there's like reverb on the guitar, and the drums have that gated reverb on it, and it's just like, eh.
Right.
I still don't hate the song. I like Brian Johnson in that song, but
I think
ESCDC.
Johnson's excellent. I feel bad because, like I said, his voice was completely like, getting crushed.
Yeah.
But those first 4 albums with him, yeah, I wonder if you could sit there and say, well, he had 4 albums that were friggin' great. Yeah, no, because I know you like those albums. I don't. I think those are half. To me, like High Voltage is a half album. There's like 5 really great songs, and then half it's like, Let There Be Rock. I feel the same way about Powerage is the first one where I'm like, this album's friggin' awesome. Now, again, this could purely be the fact that I had the record, like the album when I was a kid.
Sure.
I had 1981 when they released Dirty Deeds. I bought it, so I had that. I love that whole album. The other ones I had to go back to revisit. And I went to revisit them after I had If You Want Blood, You've Got It. So I've already had those versions in my head.
Mm.
And when I go back and hear like the Jack on that, I'm like, this sounds like the Jack, but like slower and, doped, a little bit like she's got the Jack. It lacks a little bit of the excitement. And partially for me, it's because the other version, the live one, I heard first. I will say I'm not a live album fan, but If You Want Blood, You've Got It is in the top 5 live albums for me of all time.
Okay.
Because I like those songs better than I like the versions that are on the albums.
I'm gonna have to dig into it and watch the live record. I had a live record of them when I was younger. I can't remember what it was. It was something that came out in the 90s.
Oh,
So,
Castle Donington or something?
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. But it had the big old Rosie, the blow up doll, the giant floating blow up doll they do when they play Rosie. I remember that. Let's talk about Phil Rudd. Now, what was the deal with Phil Rudd? Like, was he like stoned out of his mind on like crystal meth or something? He threatened to kill somebody or something. There was something that happened. Something happened with Phil Rudd where he was like having like serious drug problems with like crystal meth or something. I don't even know what it was, but I think he got put away for like threatening to kill either his wife or something like that. He got put away for a little while.
Didn't he pay somebody to kill his wife, his ex-wife?
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. He got let's take a look if I can look that up. He got, I believe, in trouble for paying to hiring somebody to kill his ex-wife. That was let me see where that is. Phil Rudd. Threatening to kill and drug charges. Yeah, he attempted to procure a murder.
Fantastic.
And he was in possession of drugs when they arrested him for that.
Well, that damned ex-wife of his never once dropped 4 on the floor on one of those records. What is she doing getting all that cheddar?
He's not in jail either. It looks like he was sentenced to 8 months of home detention. Guess he's got the same lawyers as Corrado Soprano. Let's talk a little bit about the Shaffer system.
That's the hair restoration that he's been using, right?
It's plugs.
Right.
So Angus in the 70s started using the Shaffer Vega diversity system.
Right, the wireless.
This was a wireless system that employed all kinds of amplifiers, whether they were black, white. Oh, that's not what diversity system means? So
I appreciate them throwing the word Vega in there.
Well, I believe. Well, wasn't the Vega Corporation was the company that made it, and,
Well, the
and
name,
Ken
right,
Schaefer,
right,
Ken
but the
Schaefer
word
was the guy.
the word Vega is Latin for traveler.
Oh, well, they were called the Vega Corporation in El Monte, California. And Ken Schaefer was the guy who designed this wireless system, and David Gilmour used it, and Kiss used it, and ELO used it. And I believe Angus at one point in the studio when he was like, I can't get the sound. And Mutt Lang was like, well, what is it you don't do that you do live? And he's like, well, I go through a wireless. And he's like, get it. And so then years later, this guy, let me see, somebody made the clone of it.
Right, that's out now.
Yeah, that's out now, and that is by Solar Dallas, called the Shaffer Replica.
I wish it was the Ashley Shaffer replica.
It is the Paul Shaffer replica.
Ooh. Are you a fan of Eastbound and Down?
The show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Ashley
I
Shaffer.
like the guy. What's
That's
his
the
name?
Will Ferrell character.
What is?
Ashley Shaffer. Ashley Shaffer
Ashley
BMW.
Oh, okay.
That's Will Ferrell's character with that blonde hair. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry. Derailing everything with stupid.
I watched the Sherlock Holmes movie, and right now Will Ferrell doesn't make me smile. I sat there for almost 2 hours watching that horrendous movie. But anyway, so if you guys are interested in trying to imitate this this thing, what it does to your sound, it's called the Shaffer replica, and it comes in this huge box with input, output, and a standby switch, or you can get it in a pedal. Now the pedal costs about $400, and if you want to know how good it is, a buddy of mine had it, and he brought it over, and we both started laughing. It's basically, remember that pedal that BBE put out? What was that red pedal BBE put out?
Sonic Maximizer pedal?
It's a Sonic Maximizer that you can, and of course the BBE one's $99, or you can pay $400 for the Solar Dallas Shaffer replica.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if you want to spend less, if you want to spend $300, what I will do is I will buy the BBE pedal, and I'll put it in a thing that says the Shaffer replica on it for an extra $200.
That's hilarious.
It's
You know what
ridiculous.
Angus is using for amps these days?
What's he using?
He's been using Wizard.
Oh, really?
You know the Wizard amps? They're basically Marshall clones, but
Marshall clones, yeah.
super expensive.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, those things are like $4,000.
I'm surprised Friedman hasn't approached him.
I think Dave's stuff is too high gain.
But doesn't he make a lower gain?
He makes something called a Buxom Betty that's like a non-master volume clean
He
sort of
makes
thing.
something called the Whole Lot of Rosie.
Oh,
That was
it's not a bad idea.
that was named right after the tone of Angus.
Exactly.
And then, I'll tell you right now what he should do. Look, if David Friedman's listening, this is the move. Go buy one of those Shaffer replica pedals because Angus uses it. Build a Marshall 59 clone, put the Shaffer replica in the front end of it. Boom, you're done. He'll plug it and be like, this thing sounds unbelievable. You can't lose.
That's it. Kid, speaking of Friedman, I bought a new pedal this weekend.
Let me
I shouldn't
guess.
say this weekend. It was on Friday.
Let me guess. Was it a Bogner? No, I'm kidding.
No. It's me buying out my own inventory.
No, I know. It's a Friedman pedal, right? Let's take a look at what it says. Hold it steady. The Golden Pearl.
Why are you
Looks
telling
like-
me to hold it steady? This is my Michael J. Fox. How is that?
Right.
It's terrible. This is my... Oh, wait, no. It's got to be related to Guitar Talk. This is my Glenn Tipton. Oh, somebody's feelings are hurt. That was wrong.
Horrible.
Unbelievable. Somebody get rid of me. Yeah, the Friedman Golden Pearl pedal. It is effectively a naked OD, if you're familiar with Tone Freaks. I think it was called Tone
So let me see. It looks like there's 3 knobs with 2 switches. 2 dip switches, 3 knobs.
Yep.
So what do we got? A
There's
volume
Volume,
gain.
drive, tone.
All right.
And then there's
Volume, drive, and tone. Okay. And
and
the
a
dip
high cut,
Okay.
and then a voice switch. And the voice switch is a 3-position clipping circuit. So you've either got
symmetrical, or
well, no, in the middle there it's no clipping.
right.
And then I don't know what's symmetrical or not. The upper position's LED clipping, and the bottom position's diode clipping.
Oh.
So
Wow.
you've got a couple of different types. I basically treat it as a clean boost, like right in front of the amp, just to give it a little bit more color, a little bit more kick. So I'm using it with the Dirty Shirley, running the drive kind of 10 o'clock ish, and getting a little bit more high end out of that amp because that amp's pretty dark. So
Nice.
yeah, just running it like that, and it sounds great. Tightens it up a teeny bit. Like it. It's gonna be an always on pedal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a couple of things going on my end. Since you brought that up, I will bring this up.
Uh-oh.
My Rebel Relic guitar is back.
Oh, buddy. Let's see.
Here we go. The Rebel Relic, which you recall.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look at that. Looks good. Who did the headstock?
My buddy put the decal on. I got the serial number is my birthday. Thank you.
Oh,
And
cool. Who did the gloss? Who did the gloss over the decal?
He did. My buddy who does it.
Really? No shit.
And he sprays it. He does all that. And he took all the because I had them put a satin nitro on the neck. All the frets were covered in satin nitro, so he cleaned up that. It's a boat neck, 1 3/4. It's fantastic. He also put in, if you look.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Pinless, so it's all in now, string through the. That's great.
Did that pinless bridge system have any impact on how the tremolo arm plays?
No, it plays the exact same.
Fantastic.
And you know what's funny was he calls me up after he took the pins out of it. And he's like, I could have just took the pins out and then machined the hole exactly like this Callahan, if you want to. And I was like, nah, just put the new one in. Because he's a machinist as well. He's like, I could have made this into it. But I was like, nah, it's good. So this is up on Craigslist now. This was the Rebel Relic neck. It's like a typical 50s style neck. One piece, very mild V. It's nice.
Nice. And you've got a couple of guitars that you're looking to unload.
I don't want to sell them, and I don't want to keep them. Does that make sense? I just want someone to be like, here, I want to take. I never play them, and it's just like. I think I should never have more than like 10 guitars, and they're like right around the cusp, and I won't play them.
I think I should never have more than like 600 guitars.
Yeah, well, no, but 10, come on. I mean, including basses and everything else. I mean, so to me, it's like I'd rather have an amp. Now, eventually, I might sell these down the road. I don't know, but I'd rather have that amp. So I'm like, you know what? I could go buy the amp tomorrow, and then I'd be like, should I have spent the money? Or if I just sell these, then I'll be like, I'll get the amp. If I don't like it, I'll sell that too. But it won't be a big deal to me.
I saw a Facebook post. You are unloading one of your guitars. That's one of your more unique guitars. I was kind of surprised to see it, but do you happen to have that honey blonde hanging around anywhere?
I happen to have that right here.
Oh, look at you! But
so this is a honey blonde 2006 Strat. And with
that honey blonde, it's hard to see it in the light, but that's a transparent finish. You can see the grain under that.
You can see the grain under it. Now, these pickups are the Jason Lawler, Charlie Christian pickups.
Okay.
For playing jazz on like a clean tone, these things sound unbelievable. The issue I had initially when I first put these pickups in, when you put gain on them, they're bassy as all get out. They have a lot of bottom. So here on the tone knobs, I have a treble, and this is a bass cut. So when you're playing with gain, you pull the bass back, thing sounds fantastic. It's a really great guitar. It's
Very
just,
cool.
again,
Yeah, it's super
got
unique.
a narrow 1 5/8 here, which I don't like, but it's a soft V, stainless steel frets, jumbo frets. I mean, they're monsters.
So you had that thing upgraded the same way that you do most of your guitars.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And it's a 60th anniversary. It's got the
Locking tuners.
locking
Yeah, man.
tuners.
All right, folks. This guitar can be yours today.
You know, my black Strat also is the exact same neck as that and the red Strat. But I was like, I should keep one of those. The black I play a lot. I've beat the hell out of. It's the one that I play. And so I'll keep it. And it's fun to play. And they're all fun to play, but I have to keep one of them. So I'll keep the black because that was the one that I play. The other ones have been sitting there and they'll be good for somebody else to play.
Tell you, I was tempted last night to buy a guitar. I didn't do it because I still have this GNL coming, but I was scouring the pages of reverb.com and I saw a Gretsch Tennessee Rose, which you know I love.
Yes.
I saw a Gretsch Tennessee Rose. For
Not
like
only do you love it,
1100.
didn't you have one at one point?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, I needed money. This is the part of being in your 20s that sucks. Yeah, it was like $1,100, and I was like, ooh. But then all reality set in that like I still have that GNL coming, and it's like if this would just be irresponsible.
Yeah.
So
For
I
me,
didn't.
yeah, for me, I just love like these beefy necks and the wide necks. And so I've just been like, why do I want to keep stuff that I just don't love? So that's
I
why
hear ya.
and people have come over and played my guitars before or at gigs and they're always like, dude, let me know. You know, and of course when you say, all right, hey, I'm gonna sell it. You caught me on a bad week. Of course I did.
Right, exactly.
Of course I did.
That's hilarious. Anyway, folks, don't forget to tell us what your favorite AC/DC song is, or record, or any
Top
moment that
5
we need to know
albums.
about. Top 5 records.
Top
Folks,
5 albums.
disregard everything I just said. Give us your top 5. We want to hear from you.
All right, John, how about you now? Favorite Bon Scott song, favorite Brian Johnson song?
Okay. Oh God, that's impossible.
Really?
It's just hard because I like them all, and it depends on the mood. Like sometimes it's just gonna be mood dependent. Like
It's the mood right now is what I want to know. I mean, obviously it's going to change. I mean, change on a daily basis.
Bon Scott right now, a whole lot of Rosie.
Okay. Mine would be Gone Shootin'.
Okay.
Brian Johnson, favorite song.
I really love to play Have a Drink on Me.
Okay. It's great.
I love
it's great. I'm sitting here the whole time thinking he's going to name the song you know what I mean? It's like hilarious because I'm like, he's going to name the one I like. And you haven't, so that's good.
Yeah.
Have a Drink on Me is your...
It's probably one of my favorite ones to play because I love playing that in the band. We play that one and it's a lot of fun. I like the riff a lot. Let me actually cheat and pull up.
Well, forget about the check. We'll get hell to pay. Have a drink.
It's so stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I could honestly say
my favorite.
I could honestly say fucking Back in Black and be fine with that answer because that song is insanely good in every way.
My favorite Brian Johnson song is Shoot to Thrill.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
'Cause I'm illegal. I got everything. Oh God.
That's the whole thing. Like for a minute I'm thinking like I don't know if that's coming through at all. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. But really,
that's
that
a
wouldn't
great
be
one.
That's not my favorite one because
Nah,
the choruses are less interesting than the verses.
it's just not a great. I mean, it's not my favorite on that album.
Noise pollution. But
There's a lot of great songs on that. I mean, I even like Shake a Leg.
I mean, the best thing about Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution is literally that heavy decibels are playing from my guitar. You got vibrations coming up through the floor. That lyric is cool.
Let Me Put My Love Into You, Babe is fantastic.
Ooh.
Let me cut your cake with my knife.
So stupid. Oh, that's hilarious. It's like all these teenage metaphors.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with I'll just say Back in Black because every time it's ever on, even when I was younger, like anytime it comes on the radio, it's just like, I'll leave that one. Sure. I've heard it 8 billion times and I still leave it. Good enough. But
Yeah.
I gotta go.
You are Back in Black and Whole Lotta Rosie, and I'm Shoot the Thrill and Gone Shooting. Gone Shooting. Bang, dang, dang. Great tune. All right,
they're good. They're real good.
Great band.
He made it out.
I've seen them a few times and I never
with
did.
the bullet in his back. That's so good. I love that.
Jailbreak.
It's great. That's a great one. I think that's a terribly underrated song. You never hear that song on the radio.
Jailbreak's great.
And anyway, with that, I've got to go. I got to go make my kids some dinner. And what else do I have to do? Take the dog out?
Who let the dogs out?
Or I got to give the dog a bone. Just not in the same way AC/DC referred to it.
Right.
Because that would be bestiality, wouldn't it?
Would not be good.
Giddy up.
All righty.
All right, kids. Catch you later out there.
Sounds good. Very good.
All right. See ya.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.